Jim Jordan said, "This is not political retribution. This is accountability." And that's exactly what it is. People have been asking for accountability for these people that were working in the government, that was working against the American people, that was working against the sitting president at the time. And after President Trump became president, they still were going after this man and trying to set him up and doing these illegal things. That's what law and order is about. Law and order is about accountability. And Trump has bring that back into the White House, and the mainstream media is upset about it. But I love the way Jim Jordan breaks this down. We're going to play the clip and hear what he has to say about all this. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account, so follow me there as well. All right, so let's get into this news. Now, this comes from Breitbart, and they report that Friday on FNC's Hannity, Rep. Jim Jordan, the House Judiciary Committee chairman, discussed the FBI raid of former National Security Advisor John Bolton earlier in the day. Jordan said the efforts were all part of accountability measures, which include Bolton, former FBI Director James Comey, Senator Adam Schiff, former Director of National Intelligence James Clapper, and former CIA Director John Brennan for efforts to undermine the Trump administration. And this is something I've been pushing for years. I said all of these dudes should be held accountable. It's good to see that finally something is happening. But let's hear what Jim Jordan has to say about it. Here we go.
Now, of course, the left and the right and their allies in the media wasted no time melting down over the news and accusing the Trump administration of weaponizing the justice system, seemingly forgetting how they treated President Trump over the last 4 years.
Right.
Your reaction to hearing that John Bolton's home is now been searched by the FBI?
Well, Kate, the timing of this is chilling.
The fact that the FBI director, goes online and tweets about this or whatever form of posting he did, the fact that the vice president of the United States jumps on that suggests that this is a politically motivated gesture.
It does feel like this is yet another norm broken in a real serious way.
What I'm concerned about even more is that this is somehow political retribution, that the FBI has become the Federal Bureau of Inquisition.
We know that the president is embarked on a pretty extensive effort to go after his perceived enemies, to, he
said he was running on retribution.
That's right. I am your retribution. That's what he told his supporters. So there's all kinds of reasons, I think, to look at this with a jaundiced eye.
House Judiciary Committee.
So where was the concern when Roger Stone was house was busted into and he was and house was searched? Where was the concern from the mainstream media then? When he had CNN already set up there, like someone let CNN know that Roger Stone house was about to be bombarded with feds, like they let the CNN know and stuff like that. The mainstream media, there was no concern of retribution or political stunts. Then you didn't hear that. Then what about when they went after President Trump? They went to Mar-a-Lago and looked through so-called classified information, which he had every right to have because he was the president of the United States. Where was the concern from the mainstream media then? See, it's one-sided, it's lopsided, and it's obvious when it comes to the mainstream media and their so-called concern with retribution.
Chairman Jim Jordan is here now with more. Thank you so much for joining us, Congressman. I don't know if you were able to hear that. Nicole Parker did a very good job of sort of laying out exactly what the safeguards were going into this raid, but also pointing out the differences between the raid we saw this morning and the raid against Mar-a-Lago. Can you expand on that?
Yeah. No, I think Nicole's exactly right. I don't know how this went down today, but you're right. The press wasn't there. There wasn't all this, the big scene that it was 3 years ago this month when they raided President Trump's home. I think the big takeaway, though, is think about what we've learned in the last 4 weeks. Because of the good work of the Attorney General, of Director Patel, of ODNI Director Tulsi Gabbard, think about what we've learned. We learned that Jim Comey and his chief of staff were leaking classified information. Right. We learned that a whistleblower has come forward and said Adam Schiff was leaking classified information. We learned from Tulsi Gabbard that there's another whistleblower who said that they changed the intelligence community assessment. They changed the report to say something different back before President Trump even took office, between Election Day 2016 and Inauguration Day. And now we learn that change, by the way, Charlie, was done by Brennan and Clapper at their urging. The report was changed back then. And now we learned today that John Bolton mishandled classified information. So you got Comey, Schiff, Clapper, Brennan, Bolton, all out to undermine the president. That's the story here. You mentioned the deep state a few minutes ago. That's the deep state in action, trying to sabotage the guy we the people put into the Oval Office. That's what they tried to do. And now you got good people running these federal agencies who are looking at the facts and just going on the facts and bringing that forward. This is not political retribution. This is accountability. And it's exactly what the American people voted on when they put President Trump in the White House on November 5th.
Okay, and so I think it's so interesting. Those forces operated throughout President Trump's first term. They continued to operate for the entire 4 years of the Biden administration. Have they been neutered now? Have those forces been silenced? Have they been broken?
Well, I do think it was interesting what Greg said as well. The arrogance of these individuals. We actually deposed Mr. Clapper and Mr. Brennan last Congress on a different issue. Remember, they also signed that now famous letter, the 51 former intel officials who think they're so much smarter than us hillbillies in flyover country, signed the letter saying the laptop wasn't real when they knew it was. The FBI had the laptop. So we deposed. But yeah, these guys are all think they're better than us. Now, President Trump has taken their security clearances, which I think is a good first step.
Right.
And we'll see what happens. We know that Attorney General Bondi is looking into the issue Tulsi brought forward, the changing of this intelligence community assessment in 2016 and 2017. I think Mr. Brennan said things to Trey Gowdy in a committee hearing. I think he may have said things to us in our deposition last Congress that don't make sense. So I'm glad she's investigating that. And I'm glad Mr. Bolton, if he in fact kept classified information. You know what this sounds like too? This is what Joe Biden did. Joe Biden kept classified information at his home because he was writing a book. We had that hearing with Special Counsel Hur, and we asked Mr. Hur, and there were 8 million reasons why Joe Biden kept that classified information, because that's the advance he got for the book that he was writing. It looks like John Bolton may have been doing the exact same thing. So God bless these great people who are now head of these agencies who are getting to the facts and bringing it forward. And if people need to be indicted, that's going to be up to the Attorney General's office, or the Justice Department, and I have complete confidence in them.
And of course, we also know that the only reason that Joe Biden wasn't charged is because he was A, president, and B, he was too mentally incompetent to stand trial for those things. So,
thanks.
Jim Jordan, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, Sean Hannity here.
I mean, I can't get over it. Well, I guess it's par for the course. The mainstream media going in and making this like to be some retribution when we got all this evidence showing that these people did some illegal things and they need to be held accountable. I mean, they went after the sitting president, and finally something is going to happen to these individuals for doing that. But y'all let me know what y'all think about all this. Leave y'all comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. And check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.